Hello, hello. Hello again, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Likewise. And hello, other Verbling viewers. Welcome to Verbling. I am Teacher Oakley. And for the next hour, we will practice speaking English and concentrating on opinion, actually, because I would like to have a discussion about freedom of the press. To what degree is the press free in your society? To what degree should they be? That is a matter
Freedom press, like
freedom of the press,
journalism.
like journalism,
Um,
not to iron your clothes. Hopefully, we all have freedom to iron our clothes. I hope that's a universal right. I hope. I could be wrong. There could be places in the world where it may be illegal.
Now,
Your
it's very
clothes.
big problem in Japan.
Is it? Okay, let's jump right in. Why? You've
Um,
intrigued me.
Japanese journalist was staying in South Korea. Then South Korea has the problem of thinking ship, wrecking ship. Do you remember last year? Ferry boat,
Oh yeah, the ferry. A huge
and
tragedy.
many
Yeah.
people died. At
Right.
the time, President was absent, so people are looking for her for several hours. Then South Korean some news said she was meeting with her boyfriend.
Oh, really? I missed that completely.
At first, South Korean news said, and Japanese journalist followed that news. Then he wrote down in Japanese in his website, but he was arrested.
By who?
It's kind of insulting the president, they said.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm a little slightly confused. So basically, he had his own blog.
Yeah, kind of defamation, the president said. So he was arrested. And the news company ordered him to change the position. So he needed to return to home, but they are not they didn't allow him to go out from the country. So
Okay,
he was still staying in South Korea.
and this continues up until now?
Yeah,
Seriously, I don't know anything about this. Okay, so, all right, let me just make sure I got this straight. He was critical of the president in regards to this horrible tragedy.
no. Only he wrote down on his blog about the president, where president was at that time. Uh,
Okay,
it came from South Korean news. But South Korean newspaper in that company, no one was arrested.
so he just took the information from a South Korean
Newspaper, yeah.
newspaper or some
Mhm.
journalist. Okay, put the information in his blog, and he got arrested. Ha!
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so by the way, what you mentioned, the phrase defamation of character. Well, here's where we get into freedom of the press, and where is it? Where are the boundaries? Defamation of character, slander. Okay, uh, to defame someone is to ridicule them, or obviously to criticize them in a way that makes them look very, very bad, of course, or to slander.
Or even Japanese newspapers always write down something about the prime minister, but we didn't have such problem.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's very. I don't know. I didn't know anything about this. Very interesting situation. Okay. Well, we've had a whole bunch of people join us. That's a very interesting example, and you're getting really right to the heart of the matter. The question, freedom of press. Where are the boundaries? And I want to talk about that. Let me just welcome people to the class and do a little microphone check. Make sure I can talk to you. Rolessa, is that correct?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes.
I am. Oh,
Yes.
great. Hooray! I just got lucky. Where are you from, Rolessa?
Saudi Arabia.
Ah, Saudi. Okay. Well, I have questions for you. Okay, I'm going to do a quick microphone check and come around back to you, Rolessa, okay? Just give me a sec. I'll be right back with you.
All right.
Max, howdy. Hello?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great.
My mic is working, I think.
Yes, it is. Check. Systems check. Old. Hi again. Hello, Old.
Yeah, hi.
You're good.
Some difficulties, connection difficulties today. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I don't either. Yeah, it
Uh,
happens. I know. No problem. We'll try to stay in here. Hello, Susanna. Okay. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Susanna or Susanna? Hello, Susanna. Can you give me a shout out? Hi.
Yes, teacher. Sorry.
No problem. Hi. How should I pronounce your name?
Susana.
Susanna.
Susana. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Susana.
Okay. Sometimes in Western culture, it's the second S is a Z. Susanna. Sometimes it's Susanna. Just wanted to check. Where are you from, Susanna?
I'm from Mexico.
Okay. Very good. All right. Great. We have very interested to talk to you guys about freedom of the press in Mexico. Susanna, I'm going to come back to you. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that. And Alexander. Hello. Hi, Alexander. Nice to see you again.
Check. Nice to see you.
Hey, Alex. Good to have you in the class. Okay. Interesting. Heidi, I'm going to get back to you specifically more about Japan, but let me move on. I want to talk to Rolessa about Saudi Arabia and journalism. Is there a department in charge of journalism in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, there is a ministry of that.
Okay, that's what I mean. Okay, ministry, even better. All right, great, thank you. There is. Okay. And what are they tasked with? What are they supposed to do? This ministry.
To control the media, all media, and give license for new magazine or new newspaper or everything. And
Very good.
actually, all the newspaper owned by the government.
Okay. You're very good. You're preempting my next question. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Okay. Most governments have in structure, they have a hammer. They have a stick, if you will. Any media organizations, newspapers, magazines, television stations need to have a license in order to operate. And so the government can take that license. They've got a stick to hit you with if they need to.
Exactly.
Okay. Does this stick ever get used in Saudi Arabia?
No, because no one can. I mean, no. They stop some of newspaper, but
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah, but no, they control everything, and no one can walk on another side. I mean, on the opposite side. They all follow the instruction and they do what they want.
Okay. Oops, where is it? Okay. All right, I'm gonna throw up in the. I'm gonna throw up. No, I'm not gonna throw up. Excuse me. Sorry. Bad choice of words. I looked up freedom of the press. All right. Online dictionary, and it says, here it is, the right of publishing books, pamphlets, newspapers, or periodicals, excuse my pronunciation, without restraint or censorship, subject only to the existing laws against libel, what Heidi was talking about, defamation of character, slander, libel, sedition, and indecency. Indecency, you're talking about indecent pornography, curse words, possibly violence. Relessa, do you know what sedition is?
No.
Okay. Sedition is the act of fomenting, tough words here, starting rebellion. All
Could you
right.
write it down? Could you write the word down?
Sedition? Yeah, it's written into the definition over here. So sedition, it's a noun. Basically, the act of starting or urging a revolution. Okay, this gets tricky as well. Gets tricky because what could be considered starting a revolution? Mocking leaders, asking for a change in laws. This is very vague. This is a vague area. What could be considered sedition? So that's where things get really tricky. Relessa, are journalists ever critical of leadership in Saudi Arabia, the Saud family, for example?
What do you mean by critical? I mean, they have influence too.
Well, do they ever critique them? Do they ever say, well, they just passed a law, and this seems like it maybe is not a good law, for example? That's just one example.
We have in the previous years when King Abdullah alive.
Yeah.
Events of the leader, we feel like this. I don't know because of him or because of the internet and media and Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
They have maybe they want to attract the reader to them because no one now read the newspaper, the local newspaper, or they get the news from Twitter, from Facebook, from another media. I mean another source. So they do some. They open up a little bit to I think to attract the reader.
Okay. Now you've just had a change, big change, huge change. All right. The king passed away.
Yes.
You have a new leader now. What do you? I'm wondering. The world's wondering. What's going to happen? In your opinion, will things become more open or more closed? And especially considering our topic, freedom of the press.
More closed.
More closed. That's your guess?
Because we lost the King Abdullah. He's reformer. He's trying to give the women rights, to give the people right to speak, everything. And I feel now when I check the newspaper now, it's really we go back 10 years ago. I think so.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. That's a great way of expressing that idea, that opinion. I feel like we're going to regress or we're going to go back to 10 years ago, the way things were 10 years ago. Okay, that's a great way to express that opinion, by the way. Interesting. Very interesting. Actually, I find that. Thank you very much for sharing your opinion. Fascinating. I'm very curious about how things will turn out. Let me give somebody else a chance to talk now. Max, are you busy or can you talk? Because I know you're at work.
I can.
Okay.
But I want to bring up another point.
Please. Thank you. I wish you would. Yes.
Why our government, I mean, for example, President of Russia and Chancellor Merkel of Germany and President, I don't know, maybe President, I'm not sure, of France had
Holland.
meet
Mhm.
had meet beside, not beside, had meet after closed doors, I mean, and talk to each other without, and we don't know what they are talking about,
Hmm.
what they were talking about. Why? And it's, I think everyone has to think about it. Why?
Why? They had met behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors, yeah.
Yes, all right. We all know what that means. That means the journalists were not invited. Okay. This is a private, personal discussion. But, right. Why is it behind closed doors? What is the opposite concept behind closed doors? Secret. The opposite concept, we talk about transparent or transparency. Transparent literally means like the window
Okay,
that you look out of.
I have to go. Sorry for that.
Oh, you do? Okay. It's all right. It's an interesting question. Thanks for at least posing that. Okay. When we're talking about freedom of the press, we're talking about this concept, transparency. Transparent literally means like my window. I can see out into the street. The window is transparent. I can see through it. The concept of transparency and freedom of the press, exactly what Igor's talking about. How much of policy changes, policy formation of policy, how much of the political process is reportable? Do reporters have access to report to the rest of us human beings? It's a very good question. Where in that definition does it say anything about transparency? Nowhere. Interesting. Okay, let me move on. Old?
Yeah.
Remind me again. I'm old and I'm losing my memory. I know you've talked to me before, but where do you live again? I'm sorry, I forgot.
I'm living in Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. Ooh, well, there we go. Let's talk about Al Jazeera. Woohoo. There's a question. I used to have a student who worked for Al Jazeera, actually. Actually, I had. Okay, anyway, but that's my own story. Interesting. Qatar and journalism. What is your opinion? Are they? In your opinion, does Qatar have freedom of the press? Completely, totally, partially?
No, I think that no place in our region have freedom of press. I think we are far away with that objective or that goals. But I think that Al Jazeera maybe something different with all media, all kind of media here in this region. But I don't know what the purpose or the cause behind that. I don't know. I think that Al Jazeera has some freedom to talk about anything, everything in everywhere. But why? What thing behind that remain not clear, I think. And I think it lost some some uh, some kind of it names. I don't know how in last period, in last maybe 2 years, 3 years, it lost some uh, proportion of those who follow it. What the cause of behind that? I don't know. Maybe some people says that maybe when they notified or when they look it as some like a media a very not a very has some lack of objectivity. I think that the person now look at Al Jazeera at not a good way to follow it and to listening to the news or report or like that with it.
Okay, all right. All right, far from that objective might be a phrase earlier that you could have used. I think we are far from that objective. Speaking of objective,
Yeah.
you use an excellent vocabulary word I want to share with everyone else. Objectivity. Being good reporting. Reporting is supposed to be objectivity, not forming conclusions about people's motives, just reporting the facts. Right? Or objectivity, very good, which leads me to discuss the word bias. Does the press have a bias, or is it unbiased? Small thing, Old. Some people say, you can't say some people says. Some people say, a little English note for you. I have a question. I have to ask you. Now obviously you're speaking to me in English. You speak Arabic as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
All
Sure.
right. Have you ever read the same article in Arabic and then in English? Have you ever tried that?
No. Sometimes, as I'm a journalist, I'm working now with the official agency of the government here. Sometimes when we receive a report or like that in Arabic, I try to read it in English. Because sometime the company here gave us some press release in both language, but that in special kind of news maybe related to the economic, where I usually cover that the event related to the economic section.
Okay, so you work in journalism.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what do you do exactly? Are you a reporter or your liaison between some government agency or? Oh, Alexander, sorry, we didn't have a chance to talk, Alexander. I'm sorry, I didn't. Okay, but so long. Old, go ahead. I'm sorry. Old.
Yeah, I'm working as a reporter. I usually cover the event which happened here in Qatar. Sometimes they envoy. I don't know the expression, the word in English. Envoyer in French. I don't know. They gave me the opportunity to cover one the other event in abroad, in other countries. Yeah, sometime in London, sometime in China, sometime in Saudi Arabia, everywhere in the world. they send me to cover a special event, but related to the activities, economic activities. Sometime I remember that last event I cover it. It was in London and related to the showroom of travel, the travel showroom around the world, which hold in London maybe before three months.
Okay, okay. Travel exposition in London.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Or tourism exposition, whatever. But yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
They didn't send you to Davos? You didn't get to go to Davos? Go to Switzerland and talk to the big,
No,
the heavy hitters?
no, where there are, yeah, there are a team of Qatar government, but as we have a correspondent there, sometimes they not send person from here, and they only deal with that correspondent in that place.
Ah, I see. Okay. Yeah. That would be interesting. Interesting. I saw such little news about what happened in Davos, and I wonder why. Going back to Max's question, where's the transparency? You would think that would be heavily reported, but I had to search if I wanted information. Why is that?
What to say? What happened in Davos?
Yeah, this sort of economic forum, Oxfam, and everything that happened there. I'm just curious. I don't know why. Okay, speaking of unbiased and objective reporting, the World Economic Forum, which just happened in Davos, was at least where I sit, how I get my news, and it may be different for you guys. I got very little information about Davos. The CNN would have, today in Davos, they're discussing these things, but they reported on nothing at all. They didn't actually say report on what the people said. They just said, oh, they're having a meeting on the income gap in third world countries, but nobody reports on anything that was said. Why? I wanted to know about it anyway, but nothing. Instead, you hear the same stuff over and over again. Ukraine, plane crash, over and over. I'm going back to what Max was talking about. People are making huge decisions, and there's no real reporting about it. Sometimes gets underplayed. Anyway, all right. I want to move on. Give everybody a chance here. Susana in Mexico. Susana, hey, where do you live in Mexico?
In the Mexico City.
Oh, the big city. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Great. Let's talk about freedom of the press in Mexico. All right.
Well, in Mexico, we had freedom and no. Why the reason? Yes, because you talk about whatever, anything that you want.
Mm-hmm.
But the TV, the radio, the magazine, and the newspaper are controlled by the government. If the government say don't write something, the newspaper or the television don't transmit the real truth. But if you're a person and you want to do a meeting or something that
This is
transmit their ideas by the social webs.
Okay, I kind of lost your connection on the last part. This is very interesting. I got all up to the medias are all controlled by the government run. And then I lost you when you said if you're an individual who wants to report something, and then you disconnected. What did you say after that?
When the individual the individual can do a meeting,
Okay.
and the individual can transmit his ideas or transmit his ideas in the social web,
Oh, okay.
Facebook or Twitter or something that. But
Uh-huh.
if the government say don't transmit by television or newspaper, you can't say something by that TV or radio.
Okay. Okay. So social networks, the internet, blogging, the blogosphere, sometimes it's called, that's pretty open.
Pretty open?
That's open. Anybody can say whatever they want in a blog, for example, or on Facebook. Is that right? I'm asking. That's a question, actually. Keep losing you, unfortunately. All right, I'm very curious because, of course, there's all kinds of crazy things happening in Mexico. I'm very curious to hear about that. All right, Susanna, maybe I'll come back to you a little bit. Your connection, I'm sorry, I keep losing you. Let me go back to Heidi. Heidi, all right. You gave me that special circumstance about the Japanese blogger. What about, I have a question for you. I forgot what it's called. I don't know. There's a special group that you have to be a part of in order to report on, like, government decisions, or you have to get invited to, like, a presidential address. You have to be a part of some special group in Japan. Is that true?
What,
is that right?
Left side or right side?
I don't know. There's some special press group. Ken, if Ken was here, he talked to me about it once.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Special?
All right. I don't know. See, I don't know either. I'm asking you. I thought, which is actually happens in the United States too. You have to be to go to the White House and watch the president speak. You have to be approved by the government. So both your newspaper you represent and you as an individual have to be approved in order to sit and ask questions to the president, for sure.
All journalists can enter the White House in America.
No, they have to be vetted by the Secret Service, make sure there's no crazy extremist or something gonna blow up the press conference. They're vetted, and of course they're not only the individual reporter, but also what establishment they're working for. Obviously, if they work for Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post, they're going to be allowed in, obviously.
The same. Only very big news company or TV companies and radio.
Right.
For example, Weekly Magazine or someone, they can't enter the place, so they always complain about that.
It just occurred to me talking about this. I don't know if any of you, I think this is a bit silly. It has nothing really to do with anything we've talked about, but I'm wondering if you guys are exposed to this. It's a big deal right now in the United States. Many people are talking about it. It's in the news. There is a famous anchor man. Okay, an anchor man is the guy who reads the news on a big news channel. Famous anchor man who was basically caught exaggerating or even lying about very specific facts, like he was shot with an RPG, rocket-propelled grenade into his helicopter. As it turns out, he was shot at, but shot at by guns, AK-47s, whatever. there's another accusation that he saw a dead body somewhere and maybe he didn't actually see it, and it's questionable. So his personal experiences that he has reported on have turned out to be, at the very least, exaggerated. He's quit. He was basically United States' most popular, had the best ratings news anchorman, and he's done. And this exaggerating these facts has basically lost him his job. Have you guys heard about this at all, Heidi?
No, I've never heard.
Not at all. It's
Mhm.
just it's only important to Americans. I mean, it really should be only important to Americans. I'm curious if you guys have even heard of this. Rolessa, did you hear about this?
No, it's the first time I heard it.
Not at all. Now, Old, you're in the industry. Did you hear about this?
No, unfortunately.
No. Okay. Interesting. All right. So it is kind of, it's not a big deal. It's not really news. Is it newsworthy? I don't know. A newspaper journalist, well respected and famous, exaggerating. But he didn't exaggerate overall facts, nothing to do with other people, only his own personal experience. Old, as someone in the industry, do you think that is grounds for, he quit, he resigned his position because of this. Do you think that's a reason to resign as a journalist? If you're exaggerating facts?
What he made leaking some information or like that?
No, not leaking. That's another good topic to talk about. No, he wasn't leaking. He was reporting. He exaggerated personal experience explicitly. I'll tell you exactly what he did. He reported that a Army helicopter he was in Iraq was shot with an RPG. That is a rocket-propelled grenade. But in fact, he was not. And the military guys, the pilot he was with, other people in the helicopter are like, what are you talking about? We were not shot with a grenade. We were shot with a couple rounds of AK-47 fire. He was shot at. So he did come under fire. That was true. But it was not what he said it was.
Yeah, I think that maybe maybe he working for maybe he not interested in the credibility of of his newspaper or like that. Maybe.
Yeah, well, he
want to. He want to make it not have a good responsibility or credibility, and I don't know how I describe that.
Yeah, I don't know either. He works for ABC, American Broadcast Company or Corporation. I'm not sure, but anyway, pretty well known, pretty big company, you know, when it comes to news. You know, not small potatoes.
It happened. Uncle was fired because he said before a commercial, he said, let's go to the toilet. But the news program is very important for them. Very important sponsors. From next day, we can't see him anymore.
He was just gone. They got rid of him that fast. Have you guys ever heard about the case where President Ronald Reagan, back in obviously in the 80s, he didn't realize that he didn't see the little red light on the camera apparently, and he was joking around, and he proceeded to jokingly say, All right, Russia, you have 60 seconds. I'm going to be bombing your entire country in 60 seconds. Bye-bye, Mother Russia. Do you remember that? You didn't realize the
No,
cameras
no,
were rolling. Seriously.
no,
That's
no,
no
no,
joke.
but I think that last night, the famous or the main news in Al Jazeera was the leaking of the Egypt president. Now what he says that those country of Qatar, of Gulf country like Saudi Arabia and Emirates, which they help him to stay in the presidency. He says that they a half of country, not completely country, they a half of country, half means not completely, and they should give for each of Egyptian a money like 10 billion, and some information leaking with for him and both with two person, the director of his office and other person, three person, speak about this thing. That the same of what you say now in the
Oops.
Reagan in 18.
Yeah. Oops.
Leaks.
Leaks.
If I have a good language, can I describe that? But my problem is not very
So
to
somebody.
say what I want.
Okay, let's see if I got it right. Somebody in the Egyptian administration leaked that that they talked about UAE and Saudi Arabia, and they said that they were half countries. They weren't real countries, like that.
Yeah.
And
That's not completely countries. They have only.
oops.
And he said that we should deal with them we in the same case when we participate in the first Gulf war in coalition of America and these 30 countries which bombarding the Iraq in period of Saddam Hussein. They in that time, Egypt in that time took many money for this GCC country, and the president now he say and his office manager he say we should deal with them in same ways, in the same way, you know.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Oops. Here's where we use the phrase in English: open mouth, insert foot. All right, somebody stuck their foot in their mouth and basically got caught. Max, are you there? I see your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to your question about what our journalist usually covers about events in the United States, or I don't know. Usually they show only bad events, something like American children ate death threat, something like that.
Of course, that sells. That's money.
That's it. And only that, nothing good and well. Yeah.
That's true. Bad news.
What about United States journalists about Russia? Also on Libet or what?
Yeah, it's the same old thing over and over again. It's nothing
Nothing
new.
different.
Really. Yeah. Before all of this stuff happened, Russia was pretty much ignored completely in American journalism. Now, of course, it's daily. You'll have 8, 10, 12, 20, 30 articles written daily about Russia. 5 years ago, 1. You know, it's that's how they work. Okay, somebody touched on, whistleblowers. Whistleblowers.
Snowden.
Snowden. It would be a perfect example. Thank you, Edward Snowden. How are whistleblowers treated in your countries? Relessa, obviously in the United States, Snowden ran away. Actually, we don't know how he would be treated in the United States because he hasn't actually been there. But some other whistleblowers have not been treated very well, frankly. Relessa, how about in Saudi Arabia? The idea of whistleblowers, people who give out maybe secret information like what Old was talking about.
What kind of information you mean for?
Well, I don't know. I guess like, all right, obviously Snowden was leaking information from United States security agencies, national NSA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. I mean, is it maybe another thing? Frankly, leakers of information in the United States very often turn out to be United States senators and legislators running their big mouth because they're privy to this information in their closed door meetings with upper military planning and financing and blah blah blah. And a lot of times it's very funny, but a lot of times these leaks come from elected government officials. Very little is done. Nothing really is done when that happens. That happens a couple times a year, frankly. But when somebody like Snowden makes off with a bunch of secret files, of course, fireworks. Yeah, get him. You know. So, does anything ever get leaked in Saudi Arabia? Have you ever heard of any secret information being leaked about, I don't know, economic oil deals or treaties or who knows what else?
No, just like about information about the royal family, what happened between them, something like that. But sometimes it's true, sometimes it's no, and because everybody talk about that, so we don't know. It's not trust anyone. I mean. Even what happened in Jazeera, what Mr. Ahmed said, wasn't big issue. Just big issue with in Jazeera and Qatar. Even international media, they didn't take it seriously because it was fake. And Al Jazeera has an agenda to support Islam Brotherhood. And since King Abdullah did, they tried to make like. They want to break the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Egypt, from Turkey and from Qatar. So it wasn't serious, and even I watched the CNN, BBC, no one talk about this leak. It's fake because it's stupid. How he said really? How is it said? The president said about Saudi Arabia is half country. I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah. Okay. So possibly, are you saying possibly is made up?
Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Sure, of course.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, sure.
I think that Al Jazeera not very stupid to publish some fake like that.
They are stupid because they are support brotherhood.
No, that's not
Okay.
not the case. No,
That
no,
is
that's not
clear
the case.
for everybody.
That's
They are support.
a,
They support Al Qaeda before, and they support Brotherhood now.
Well, that's
okay.
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 Wow.
Let me say something about that. Only
Yeah.
they not stupid to make that because
Because was it
when
illegal
they
international?
diffuse
No one about this.
diffuse
No one know about this news because no one believe it.
Well,
Because really, when I watch it, it's stupid.
okay. Well, he shed. You know what we call these kinds of things? Frankly, to be honest.
I'm sorry
No,
about this.
no, it's
word.
okay. No, it's okay. No, I do want to. This brings up a point. We talk about this kind of journalism sometimes, to be frank, as I don't know the details, and I could be off base here. All right, I don't. I'm really ignorant as to the
It wasn't
facts.
big issue.
So okay, but I don't know. So, but this kind of journalism, we call it he said, she said journalism. Oh, he said this, no, he said that, and he said this, no, she said that. But this generally unsubstantiated and just word of mouth reporting back and forth. Who knows what anybody says? My gosh, you hear this stuff all the time. John Kerry said, and Netanyahu, then Benjamin Netanyahu then replied, blah blah blah. He said this. This is very dangerous reporting, in my opinion, because when you're just taking a quote and saying he said this, and so that means he thinks all of this. Very easy to take one sentence out of context and say, oh, take this one sentence he said in the middle of 100 sentences and say, oh, this is what he said. So this must mean that he thinks this. I'm very suspicious of that form of journalism. Again, I don't know if that's what we're talking about here, but I do want to present that.
I believe each newspaper or each channel, they have their agenda.
Okay.
In the United States, for example, I think Fox channels, they support Republic, right? And I think CNN with Democrat. So like Al Jazeera, it's clearly now support the Brotherhood. Clearly.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well,
that's
Oakley,
Max.
do you call it cherry picking? Cherry picking.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Nice, Max. Good memory. Yes, they're cherry picking information. Thank you. I didn't think of that. They're cherry picking information, and they're only reporting what they want to report, which supports their bias. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers, although Relessa points at Fox, and yeah, it's fairly obvious that they are supportive of the Republican Party and conservative, the whole conservative right-wing American politics area. If you can't see that, then you're a complete idiot. Equally, it's the other way around. Other companies are MSNBC, which frankly I don't even look at because I know they're biased the other way. I don't look at Fox. I don't look at MSNBC because I know they're the extreme left and right. So I don't bother. What's the point? Anything they say is going to be cherry picking. He said, she said, or in older form, what we call yellow journalism. Not older form, but this sort of tabloid reporting. Oh, there's another one. Okay, lots of words here. Tabloid reporting, really, you can thank Americans for that one as well. They started doing this back in the 1800s, actually. This style of reporting, exaggerating facts. Something else the world can thank Americans for. Gee, thanks a lot. Anyway, very interesting. We could have this conversation for hours and hours, really. Max? Yeah.
Very quickly, one point. One writer, Russian writer, wrote when people will live behind invisible walls. And I hope our government will also
Yeah.
live behind invisible walls. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Again, the
point.
notion of transparency. Yeah. Yeah, that was a part of Obama's, that was a central component of his platform to get elected. What has he done? Arguably not much. He said he was going to do a lot, but still haven't really seen it. But anyway, here's another discussion for another day. Thank you very much. That was quite animated. Lots of very interesting.
Thank you.
Quite interesting. Thank you.
Thank
I appreciate that, everyone.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
All right.
Bye bye.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.